and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you guys for spending some time with me today. I got another video coming at you, and today I wanted to look at the top 10 breakout candidates of 2022. I think that there are a lot of players who could take a step forward this coming season, and I wanted to hone in on 10 of my favorites. Before we get into that though, if you guys are joining me for the first time, thanks for being here. Please consider giving me a like and subscribe. The support I get means so very much to me. It helps me out a ton. I could not do this without you, so keep it coming. With that done, let's get into this version of Hot Off the Press. While this is not really meant to be a fantasy football piece, much of the information here can also be applied to helping you win your league. I am going to be starting fantasy football focused content very soon to help prep you for your drafts, so stay tuned. In going over the top 10 biggest breakout candidates of 2022, I really wanted to look at players who had the situations around them shift dramatically in some way, shape, or form, and are going to be poised to make a big leap forward this season. I am going to quickly touch base on a couple honorable mentions before I get into my top 10 list. We're then going to hit quarterbacks first, wide receivers are coming next, and we're going to finish with the running back position. These players are ranked in no particular order, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on where you would have them. Drop that in the comments below and let's get it. The three honorable mentions that I have for you guys are Rashad Bateman, Travis Etienne, and Javonte Williams. I think all of these players are due for a big year in 2022. Now, I have already talked about them in other videos, and I did not want to beat the dead horse, so to speak. So check out my year 2 breakout videos for both the running back and wide receiver position if you want insight into the 2022 outlooks of these players. Now to the top 10, we start with Zach Wilson. And last year was a struggle, to say the least, for Wilson, and it started out as poorly as it possibly could. Zach threw 7 picks in his first 3 games, including an epic fail 4 INT performance against the Hoodie. It was not the ideal way to enter the league, to be sure. He was banged up halfway through the year, he missed 4 games, and that certainly threw him off of his rhythm. Through all of these issues, however, Zach rebounded, and he threw just 4 interceptions in his final 10 games. That type of substantial improvement gives some hope that Wilson is going to be able to bounce back in 2022. Though he has plenty of areas that he's going to have to improve in outside of that interception situation, there is a silver lining here for Gang Green. The lack of touchdowns can partially be attributed to the abysmal Jets offense. New York was not only short on playmakers to start the year, but they dealt with injuries nearly the entire season as well. The Jets recognized it, and they did something about it in the offseason, drafting wide receiver Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State with the 10th overall pick, as well as the best running back prospect available in Breece Hall, and that was with the 4th pick in the 2nd round. These 2 additions will be huge, not only providing a true number 1 option at wideout to pair with second-year breakout candidate Elijah Moore, but also a running mate to help spell Michael Carter. They got even more help in the passing game by signing a pair of proven tight ends in Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzomah. The issue of having a lack of options is not going to be present in 2022. Zach will continue to develop and progress as we saw him do that towards the end of the year, and Wilson should make a big leap forward because of it. Tua Tagovailoa is my next guy, and he is one of the more underappreciated players in the league for my money. He has done nothing to earn the doubt and the lack of support as a potential franchise quarterback in Miami. His biggest issue so far has been availability. Tua has missed 12 games through his first 2 seasons, but that is not entirely his fault. Stuck behind a bottom 5 offensive line, what did Miami think was gonna happen? This offseason, they learned from their mistakes and they went out and got big man help up front. Miami signed the best left tackle available in Teron Armstead, and they also signed a solid guard in Connor Williams out of Dallas. It should be a very different protection story in 2022. They also injected the running game with a slew of backs, signing Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Raheem Mostert. After being able to do basically nothing in the running game last year, someone is likely to step up and support that passing game. After that, they went to work on adding receiving weapons, getting a top 3 receiver in Tyreek Hill to pair with Jalen Waddle. The speed here is something that Tua is going to be able to utilize, and being able to get the ball out very quickly is going to help keep him healthy. It is also one of his biggest strengths. With 2 out of the best yard after catch receivers in the league, Miami's offense will improve tremendously. Finally protected, and with the best group of weapons that he has ever had, Tua is destined to step up for the Dolphins in 2022 and truly break out. Up next, I have Trey Lance, and to be fully honest, this is more a projection than it is a certainty right now, considering that the 49ers can't even give Jimmy Garoppolo away. However, it is extremely likely that San Francisco finally turns the reins over to Lance after a more or less redshirt season. It would be crazy not to, after selling their soul to draft Lance number 3 overall last year. The fact of the matter is, Lance should have been starting in the playoffs last season. He gives the 49ers the best chance to win. That was my stance after their victory over the Cowboys, and it was proven right when Jimmy Garoppolo tried to do everything in his power to lose not 1, but 2 playoff games for the 49ers. Anyways, Lance is a dual threat quarterback with a cannon for an arm. At 6'4" and 225, he is a big man to bring down when he takes off. Lance's legs are what make him the easy decision to be the starter. On 38 rushes, he racked up 168 yards and recorded 8 first downs. The kid knows how and when to take off with it, and that is only going to improve with more reps. There is no doubt that the issues that he has are in the passing game, specifically with his accuracy, but I expect that to improve with a full off season. He can make all the throws necessary at the NFL level. In just 2 starts last year, Trey had over 600 yards passing, so he did not exactly struggle to adjust when coming over from North Dakota State. And after taking over for an injured Jimmy G against Seattle early in the year, I want to say week 5, Lance threw 2 second-half touchdowns to Deebo Samuel, so that connection with one of the best wideouts in the league already seems to be there. When you consider that he also has George Kittle, a top 3 tight end in the league, at his disposal, the transition here is going to be smoother than most young quarterbacks get. With a solid team around him, there is absolutely nothing that is stopping Lance from a huge breakout campaign. It is his time. My final quarterback on the list is Justin Fields. And if we're being frank here, there wasn't really much shown on the field last year from Fields that would lead people to believe that he can elevate his game to the next level. Certainly not early in the season. He struggled with accuracy, he took too many sacks, and he could not get on the same page with his receiving core. He also struggled to stay on the field. Part of that is just being a rookie and learning the game on the NFL level. Part of that is going to be talent, or maybe lack thereof, surrounding Fields. But the biggest part of it, I believe, is the dumpster fire that was Matt Nagy's offense. If you watched any Bears game last year, you could see just how set up for failure Fields was. The game plans were not just difficult to understand, they actually seemed to be going against Justin Fields' strengths. It's almost as if the game plan wasn't made for him at all, and he was just being asked to adjust his end of things to make it work. That is not a recipe for success for any quarterback in the NFL, let alone a rookie. With a new coaching staff, things can only get better. The other reason that I believe Fields breaks out in 2022 is what we saw from him to end the year. Over the last 3 full games that he played, Justin threw for 800 yards with 4 touchdowns. He had over 150 yards on the ground, so the reason for optimism is clear. While his weapons haven't exactly improved, another offseason for Cole Kmet, who did flash in 2021, and Darnell Mooney, who was a very talented wideout and another player that I considered for this list, both of those things are going to help out tremendously. There is enough here on offense for the Bears to be at least average and not the butt of the joke that they were last year. Don't be surprised if Fields earns the franchise quarterback label sooner rather than later in Chicago. We're now going to head to wide receivers, and we start with Rondale Moore, who makes this list because of the circumstances in Arizona and the flashes of potential that he showed last season. With Nuke being out for the first 6 games of the year, somebody is going to have to step up for the Cardinals. While there is plenty of competition in the Arizona receiving room, there is a definite place for Rondale to thrive. A second-round pick in 2021, the pedigree is there, and when given the opportunity, more often than not, he saw success. There should be plenty of those given the air raid offense that Cliff Kingsbury employs. With Chase Edmonds gone to Miami and James Conner alone in the backfield, I expect a more pass-happy approach in 2022. The number 1 role will be Hollywood's while Nuke is gone, but outside of AJ Green, no one is going to challenge more for the number 2 role in the offense over the first third of the season. I believe he takes advantage of that, carves out a role for himself, and he keeps that role once Nuke returns. Kyler Murray has already shown a propensity for spreading the ball around, and if Moore produces early, he could quickly become a favorite target for Kyler. With the run after the catch ability that Moore has shown, he will be a staple for underneath routes, using his speed and elusiveness to create chunk gains. While Moore probably doesn't threaten 1,000 yards just yet, it is certainly within the realm of possibilities. Expect a level up from Rondale in 2022. Now to Dallas, where I am all about CeeDee Lamb. And I may have been a year early on the full-on explosion from Lamb, but this is the year that he truly steps into the elite at the position. The reasoning here is obvious. Last year, there were just too many mouths to feed in the Dallas passing game, and sometimes Lamb got left out of the fun. With Amari Cooper out of town, Lamb has the number 1 role all to himself. In a Dallas offense that is going to be putting up a ton of points, and with no one to challenge him for targets, he will thrive. Lamb has the talent to win in most matchups. He shows elite quickness and body control, and he uses his frame wisely to win in contested catch situations. In the 4 games last year that he had over 10 targets, he compiled 403 yards and he scored 3 times. He is going to see plenty of those games in 2022, and if he holds that type of pace all year, he's going to have 1,500 yards and double-digit scores in the bank. CeeDee is one of my absolute favorite breakout candidates of 2022. He is destined to go nuclear and cement his place among the league's best. As we move on, it's Gabriel Davis up next, and if you watched the playoffs last year, you know this name. Davis was often an afterthought in a loaded 2021 wide receiver room for Buffalo. He was forced into a number 4 role because Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, and Cole Beasley were all in front of him. So with that, there was not much left. Towards the end of the year, however, you could really see the connection that he had with Josh Allen start to blossom. Davis received a season-high 14 targets in Week 18 against the Jets, and after that, he really never looked back. He had 41 yards and a score in the Bills' first playoff game, and then he split an atom against Kansas City, posting an 8-catch, 201-yard, 4-touchdown day against the Chiefs. With Sanders and Beasley no longer present, Gabriel will have all the targets that he can handle in one of the best passing offenses in the league. I believe that letting each of those guys walk in free agency was a sign of confidence that the coaching staff had in him. And I also think that he pays off that trust in a big way in 2022. Davis is going to see a healthy target share this year, and doubling his yardage total from 2021 is not out of the question. As the number 2 option for the Bills, he's going to score plenty of times too. Take notes, Davis is going to make a name for himself in this league. In my final wide receiver spot, I have a 2-for-1 special with Juedy and Courtland Sutton. And let's face it, one of these 2 guys is going to have a monster year in 2022. It is kind of hard to figure out exactly who that is going to be, but it's happening. And actually, I would not be surprised if both of these guys elevated with Russell Wilson at the helm. I view Courtland Sutton as the more likely of the 2 for a few reasons. We know about that Wilson and Lockett connection and how it did wonders for Seattle, and Sutton is the closer comp here. Their games certainly are not the same, but they have similarities. After missing all of 2020, Courtland was able to make it through the entire 2021 season more or less unscathed. He is going to be a magnet for targets down the field, and he has the hands and the route running ability to win matchups. I expect Wilson to look his way often, and we know that Ross throws one of the prettiest deep balls in the NFL. Juedy is maybe the more talented out of these two, but we cannot know for sure just yet. After a solid rookie campaign, he struggled to stay on the field last year, and he failed to eclipse even 500 yards, and he never once hit pay dirt. To be fair, I'm not sure that he was at 100% for much of the year because he is a different player when he gets going. Juedy is going to be more of that DK Metcalf role for Wilson, and he will thrive all over the field if he can stay healthy. Juedy and Sutton could each easily eclipse 1,000 yards on the year, and they are both likely to take steps forward in a revamped Broncos passing attack. We will close it out with a pair of running backs, and the first is J.K. Dobbins, who I absolutely loved in the preseason last year. After a successful rookie season, I thought that he was going to be the next young back to take a step up and flirt with the elite at the position. However, it was not to be, as an injury forced J.K. to miss the entire 2021 campaign. It will be a different story, however, in 2022. And one of the most run-heavy and efficient rushing attacks in the NFL, Dobbins is among the most set up for success of all rushers in the league. There's a chance that the Ravens ease him in a little bit, and they have a stable to spell him as well. But Dobbins is going to be the guy sooner or later, and I am betting on the former. He is just way too talented, and that will force Baltimore's hand to keep him on the field. While I do not expect him to match his incredible 6 yards a carry number that he posted as a rookie, he does not have to in order for this season to be a breakout. Dobbins has a little bit of everything in his game, and he will work well with Lamar Jackson's skill set. His ability both in the backfield as a rusher and out of it as a receiver will add another wrinkle to the Ravens' offense and make them very difficult to stop. There are few rushers who have a better chance to take a leap forward in 2022. Cam Akers is the last player on my list, and prior to training camp last season, he was considered a lock to star in a Rams offense that was projected to be among the best in the league. After a rookie season with its ups and downs, he emerged as the clear number one back heading into 2021. Unfortunately, Akers tore his Achilles, he underwent surgery, and it was announced that he would miss the entire season. With hard work and Wolverine blood in his veins, Akers beat that diagnosis. He would return in Week 18 and play against San Francisco before helping the Rams in their Super Bowl run. I do understand that the numbers during that run were not great, and if you're doubting his ability to come back and be the player he was, I do get that too. Achilles injuries have sapped many running backs' abilities in the past. But just as we saw Adrian Peterson defy the odds during his MVP campaign, I believe Cam Akers can too. If he can recover that quickly and make a return, he is just built different. Because of that, I am not betting against him. With a full offseason to continue to rehab and to rebuild that speed, strength, and explosiveness, it is going to be a different Cam Akers in 2022. With so many weapons around him, defenses are not going to be able to keep up, and Akers is going to see plenty of plus opportunities in LA. I say that he takes advantage of them and reminds us why so many loved him coming into 2021. Hey, it is better late than never, and clearly Akers refuses to accept the word never. He beats the odds once more and breaks out in a big way in 2022. And that is the list that I have for you guys for this video. I hope that you enjoyed the content today. If you are new to the channel, if you haven't gotten to it quite yet, or if you've enjoyed content from me in the past, I would greatly appreciate a like and subscribe. All of the support that I get means the world to me, and it helps me out a ton. To all of my current subscribers out there, I cannot thank you enough. This is Relentless Press. I'm your host, Gabriel, and we'll see you next time.